So anyway, so back to the Mandela effect. So what we're doing right now is we're attracting the Tyler Mandela agents and bots. And we're changing their timeline for when they're going to do their scrubbing when people go to sleep. Because I've been teaching people in my chat room that Tyler works in what's called 24-hour hashes. So the Mandela effects tomorrow are what we're influencing with our conversational programming today. See, and that's what causes the Mandela effects, is the shift in consciousness from today's time hashing from people. It causes slight shifts in the time stream, because once you hook up quantum computers and then the quantum computer links up to individual users, the consciousness can actually shift the current perception of time. It's not that it actually changed the past, it's that it changes the current perception of time based on critical mass. So you see, the event in the past is still as it was, but how we perceive the event now, right in the now, is based on critical mass observer effect. Right? See, that's why I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm trying to teach you about Tyler and how Tyler works on what's called critical mass observer effect. So if Tyler has a mass of users that perceive an event in time one way, well, then the current quantum space adjusts time in the now. So it's not that in analog time or linear time in the past that it was changed. It's just changed in the perception of the now. It's changed in the videos. It's changed in the books. It's perceived as anomalies. And as we roll forward with the quantum spheres, or the quantum continuum, as they call it, once they start putting these black boxes into the ring complexes and flicking the on switch, the observation of time is going to become more based on critical mass observer effect, or a common consciousness. And then we shape time through that direction once we hit quantum nature. Because in linear or analog nature, everything runs sequentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But in quantum nature, things don't run sequentially. Things run simultaneously. Things run in and out. Things run above and below. Things run inside and outside. Things run in various different spaces that we have yet to comprehend as previously analog individuals. See, because once we become a quantum individual, what happens is our time becomes what's called divergent. It becomes based on our intention. It becomes based on our words. It becomes based on the actions that we take from those intentions or words. And then that programs a new now that comes later. It's not necessarily a future. It's just a new now that comes later. But linear time is now being shifted based on the quantum nature that's existing as they bring the D-wave systems online. Okay, so as more quantum computers come online into the quantum grid or the neutrino network, the effects on the quantum time or the quantum nature become more and more obvious until it almost looks magical. And then we become exactly quantum individuals. We're no longer analog individuals or linear individuals. We become quantum individuals that are more influenced by the thoughts in our mind and how they're expressed in physical nature. Okay. Now, the Tyler quantum, or the Tyler Mandela, takes this into effect and manipulates it based on critical mass observer effects. So whoever the most users are, whatever truth they decide is the truth in the quantum time or the quantum nature, that's what begins to happen. We see logos change. We see laws change. We see things shift. So the process church or the covenant or the 9-3 society is infecting this or injecting these small events into the quantum reality as the machines come online so they can form the now that comes later. Am I making sense? So that's how the Tyler Mandela or Tyler quantum time works. And then us as individuals, as we come together as organized groups or people who agree on like a global consciousness or a global operation, then the quantum neutrino network starts building that into the future for us. So we have to create what's called a critical mass. That means we have to create a mass of individuals who agree on one common thing, like stop the sacrifice or time phone hack. And then the AI traces that hash back to its origin, and it starts developing futures based on that, or future probability containers like I was teaching you earlier in previous videos. So once these daily hashes create these virtual probability containers, you can have Tyler replace them almost like hard drives or image files. Like you would replace an image file on a computer, like you have a Photoshop file that's in a certain state. You open that, you edit it, you close it, and then you save it again. So because they figured out that nature's code. And then once you figure out nature's code, you pretty much figure out how to program it. Neutrinos are life forms from the G particle, or those now seem spheres. Neutrinos are deva. Yes, they are life forms. They're alive. They're deva. They're trapping deva inside quantum computers and then making phone calls to them for super awesome answers. But that gets people confused to understand that the qubit is alive. It's a living being, and they're sacrificing them. That's one of the big sacrifices, is the beings that they're putting into their neutrino network to make them work. Is they actually sacrifice and put beings into the machines, like in ways you wouldn't understand. It's weird. It's so weird. It's not like anything I've ever been able to explain, even to myself. So that's why we stick with the simples, the vibrations. So, and the deva like the vibrations.